Today we're going to be building the Vendetta Revolver. This is actually one of my favorite projects that I've ever done. Link in the description below to the original 3D files if you want to give this a go yourself, and it was made by Trox. And he based this around the fictional revolver from Rainbow Six Siege used by Demus. You'll also find timestamps below if you want to just jump to the completion of this build to see what it looks like. Now, this is the supports I went for when I originally printed this, but I wish I had found out about tree supports at this point. It would have made it a little bit cleaner in order to get it all out. But I did manage to clean it up. Now, I didn't put in any filler or anything like that. I just kind of gave it some basic sanding. So we didn't make this look like a perfect recreation or anything like that, or perfect steel. But of course, it's completely hollow. There's nothing in this at all. It's extremely light. But I was wanting the print lines to remain. That's why I always do with every one of my 3D printed projects. I love to see those print lines. I don't want to sand them down with filler or anything like that, because I think it's a maker mark from the printer itself and makes me remember how I printed stuff. And I think it's just part of the process, and I like to keep it in there. But this was definitely one of the biggest cleanup jobs I ever had to do. I also had this problem. Originally, I was going to print the handguard in 2 pieces, but that just wasn't going to work. So I ended up doing it in 1 piece, and I made a little flat surface on the bottom to print it nice and steady, and then reprinted it a little bit and then stuck it back on. And overall ended up looking pretty good. By the end, I was actually really happy with it. But this is the basic structure. And of course, inside basically a lightning infill, so it's mostly hollow. And of course, non-functional. But go ahead and slap this together, and we start to get our overall structure. And we're moving closer and closer to the actual satisfying stuff, because there's some really cool clicking and physical attachments that this thing just has, which are cool once we finally complete it. But here you go, you've got the body, you've got the handguard, and we've got a whole bunch of different bits and bobs to put in. And yeah, pretty much ready to roll. We're going to go paint this up now. And this is going to transform, hopefully, into something absolutely awesome. We've also got a couple of magnets on this part that help to maintain this piece. I actually don't think the design needs it, because it stays in pretty damn well, but it is good to have that extra security. But here is all painted, and this really starts to bring it together. It looks really freaking cool. It's simple, but overall gorgeous. And you can see how I did leave all the print lines on. Could have definitely filled that in and made it just look more real. But of course, this is a fictional thing that we're making, and I love actually seeing those print marks, because to me that is the maker marks of the actual printer itself that's helping me to create this. And honestly, this part, the handguard, is by far my favorite bit. I think it just somehow came out looking good and satisfying overall shape that the original design has. Now it's just a matter of gluing this all up, and the way this is going to be is nothing moves, but there is a few bit of actuation points in just a few key areas to add a little bit of coolness to it. And we also have these things that we're going to have to push right through the entire body. And these are mostly aesthetic. They don't really do too much. But you can see I had a bit of a time with it. The actual tolerances were pretty damn good. I was very happy. Nothing was like off. It all ended up coming together really nice. And there's only a few bits that I really had to get like trim up or clean up. And overall, just wonderful. And as you can see, had a bit of issues getting this in here, but once it was in, it went up and glued up beautifully. And we had a little bit of a matte black and the silver paint job to contrast on that part too, which you'll see later on in the video. Then we have a special bit here. This is just a teeny bit of plastic that just gives us an audio click to this cosplay prop, which you will be hearing later. So we're making really good progress to the point where we're going to be starting to assemble stuff in the coolest of ways. So this actually has no glue on it. Just listen to this. Beautiful. So the tolerances on this were just great. I need to do, shave up a tiny bit, but it worked great. And listen to this. Really freaking nice. And this just holds it all together. So lovely. I might pull that out and maybe customize it in the future to give it a bit more detail. But yeah, it is looking cool. And, obviously it's just hollow plastic, but it just looks absolutely gorgeous. One of my nicest creations so far, I think. It can also be disassembled too, which is sweet. And here we go, just assembling all this bit. This is the most complex bit, which just simply means stuff can spin freely. So we have to do a lot of watching what we glue so that this can move around. And it's only operated by hand, but it looks brilliant and very, very cool. Had to do a little bit of cleanup on this piece, but we are pretty much there. As you can see, this is starting to really come together and going to be one satisfying creation at the end of the day. Now, if you are some sort of expert on this kind of stuff out there, because I'm from the UK, we don't usually deal with this kind of stuff, so I'd love to know what you think of this, if you actually have one like it or anything like that. Because of course mine is just complete hollow plastic. I'd love to know what you guys are using out there. So yeah, we're almost there. I'm just now looking to make sure everything actually fits and all that, and we don't have any. But here she is, all done, and have a nice listen. So that is just a couple of pieces of plastic. We've got some actuation here too. It looks cool. So overall, this prop for Rainbow Six Siege and basically cosplay item made of hollow plastic does look and feel awesome. It is beautiful. Great creation for the original version that's in game, and of course the 3D model for this that allows us to print this prop version is just cool as hell. And you know, like hold it is just so cool. So very happy. It came out incredibly good and super happy with it overall. So let's have a little listen to some more. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous. This worked out incredibly well. Now I have learned that this isn't the kind of video which is safe, unfortunately, to upload, because last time we ended up with a big hit. So I have to watch out. So yeah, I don't know if we'll actually be returning with this kind of project. I would love to, but it might be too risky. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.